हैं बादा मस्त बादा आशा में अहमदियत चलता है दौर मीना ओ जाम अहमदियत.
Hello guys, just go quickly over the program because a lot to cover. We do have a Khuddam talk as well at 6:30, so try to get through the program before that. So we do the Friday sermon today. Amazing Friday sermon, alhamdulillah. And I was really happy with the stuff as we mentioned, but we'll get into that just after this. We have the Khuddam news, and as you know, Khuddam, the news has been crazy just in the past few days and today as well. So we'll have a good insight from that, and also with when Mubarak is by as well. And then we have one allegation. I'm going to show a video from actually the Murabbi that came on last week, Murabbi Fateh Tahir, from Ahmadiyat 101. Really good videos. So we're just going to watch that together and also talk about it a little bit because everything is connected today with the recent events going on. And today we have, unfortunately, we had two Murabbis that were supposed to come on from Jamia, but for some reason or another, they weren't able to come. But they did really want to come, but Allah didn't want it to happen, so it's fine. But I managed to get someone else just to replace them quickly. In fact, just a few minutes ago, I was on the phone and they accepted to come on. So we have Murabbi Noor Hadi, who just recently passed out of Jamia. You may have seen the videos from MTA, the students that sit with Hazur these days and have class with him. So he's going to give us a nice insight into his life in Jamia and also answer any questions anyone has. And we'll finish off as usual with Zaryab, a nice Kahoot to always end the day. So without further ado, Jazakallah everyone for joining to today's Khuddam night. November is flying by. It's 20th of November. It's almost December, guys. This lockdown is crazy. So we'll have a little summary of the Friday sermon with Kashif today. So Kashif, could you just come on and let us know what beloved Israel said in the Friday sermon?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So Hazur mentioned about Hazrat Auf bin Harith now, and Hazrat Khalifatul Masih bin Nasri stated that he belonged to Ansar of Medina. He was the brother of Hazrat Mas and Hazrat Moviz. He was among the 5-6 Ansar who came to Makkah to perform the of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. There is a narration recorded at the occasion of the Battle of Badr that Hazrat Auf asked the Holy Prophet ﷺ that what is that pleases Allah. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said that what pleases Allah is for a person to be engaged in the battle and fight with bravery without his armor. Hence, it is recorded about Hazrat Auf that he fought courageously in the battle and was martyred at the hands of Abu Jahl. Hazrat Abu Ayyub. Next, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih narrated about Hazrat Abu Ayyub Ansari anhu. He belonged to the Khazraj tribe of Medina. His real name was Khalid, and he accepted Islam with 70 other individuals at the occasion of the second Bayt-e-Aqaba in Mecca. He was alongside the Holy Prophet ﷺ in all battles. Moreover, Hazur stated that related about the hospitality of Hazrat Abu Ayyub and how he took care of the Holy Prophet ﷺ for 7 months with due diligence. In the beginning, the Holy Prophet ﷺ preferred to stay on the main floor of his house, while Hazrat Abu Ayyub was on the second floor. However, due to his love of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and to take care of him, Hazrat Ayyub requested the Holy Prophet ﷺ and thus shifted him to the top floor of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Hazrat stated that an incident of his love for the Holy Prophet ﷺ. When the Holy Prophet ﷺ married Hazrat Safiya, Hazrat Abu Ayyub decided to stand guard during the night outside the camp of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. In the morning, when the Holy Prophet ﷺ saw him, he inquired about it. Hazrat Abu Ayyub said that I was afraid for you in regard to this woman as her family and tribe have been defeated. Hearing this, the Holy Prophet said that, "O Allah, protect Abu Ayyub as he protected me the entire night." Hazrat Abu Ayyub narrated that the Holy Prophet stated that whoever dies in a condition that he did not associate any partners with Allah will enter paradise. According to a narration, Hazrat Abu Ayyub passed away in 52 Hijrah while he was part of the expedition of Yazid bin Muawiyah to conquer Constantinople. As as per will he was buried close to the modern day city of Istanbul. Jazakallah.
So yeah, it was really good. So the reason why I said I was quite happy with what Hazur said today, the Sahabi you mentioned, and Kashif brilliantly just encapsulated what Hazur has said in the whole Friday Summer. But one particular, everyone has this particular moment when Hazur says something and it touches them. So with me, when Hazur was saying about when the Holy Prophet ﷺ went to Medina, and they asked him, "Where will you stay, O beloved Prophet ﷺ?" So he put the camel and said, "Wherever the camel stops, that's where I'll stay." So the camel stopped outside the house of Hazrat Ayub Ansari, radiallahu anhu. And he mentioned particularly that, I'm going to stay downstairs. I'm going to stay downstairs. But upon the request of Hazrat Ayub Ansari, radiallahu anhu, he said, "How can I sleep above knowing that the Prophet of Allah is sleeping below me?" So upon that request, they agreed that the Holy Prophet would sleep upstairs. But it really reminded me, because the room that I'm sitting in now is the same room where Hazur, when he came to inaugurate the Mosque of Walsall, he actually slept in this very room. And this is downstairs of the house. It's 2-story, but Hazur chose to sleep downstairs. And he requested that the bed, this whole room, which is a sitting room, should be made into a bedroom. And so the place where I'm sitting right now is literally where Hazur's bed was. So when Hazur was saying this, I was thinking, wow, there's so many similarities going on here. And for anyone who's ever come to Islamabad and they've ever seen Hazur in Islamabad, the atmosphere is on a different level. Wherever Hazur is going, I think you guys would know, when Hazur used to come for Ijtima in Islamabad, wherever he would walk, everyone would start walking behind him. And these were the scenes when Hazur was in Medina, when he was going from house to house, when he would go inside someone's house, everyone would flock and everyone would try and be where the Holy Prophet ﷺ would be. And there's so many resemblances to that, and there's no explanation to what that is. There's this inner love that we have within our hearts. When we see Hazur, we just want to be there, we just want to follow him. So when Hazur mentioned this about the Holy Prophet ﷺ sleeping downstairs, it reminded me of that, and it reminds me of how blessed we are as well in our Jamaat, that we have a Khalifa who is an embodiment of the teachings of Islam, and how similar it is to the life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So this is one thing which affected me personally. And when I look around the room and I look around in our mosque, I'd say Alhamdulillah, because Zur came and he inaugurated it, and he also slept one night here. So it's almost like just like the camel decided to sleep in Hazrat Ayub Ansari Anhu's house just outside it. In the same way, and I remember during the time people thought that Huzur would go to Darul Barkat, for example, and stay there because that's the center, and that's where the biggest mosque that we have is, and all the accommodation is there. And Huzur has a place there as well. But Huzur did decide to stay here. So just for those guys, all of us living in the Midlands, we need to recognize how lucky we are that the Khalifa of Allah, the Khalifa, he decided to stay in Midlands multiple times, not just once. He's been here so many times to inaugurate the different mosques, and we are very lucky and fortunate. So these are things that we should pick out when we're listening to Huzur's khutbahs. And I also, just on personal note, I also went to visit the grave of Hazrat Ayub Ansari in Turkey. And that as well is the feelings you get, and when you know the stories and you know the love of the Holy Prophet ﷺ had for particular companions, especially like Hazrat Ayyub Ansari, Razillah anhu, when you get to their grave, you feel this power, you feel something, this energy when you get close to it. And you can't explain what that is. And we feel that as well when you go to Islamabad, you see Khalifa Rabi Rahmullah's gravestone, you feel something, and it's something that's attracting to us to it. So Jazakallah Kashif, a very good roundup of the Friday sermon. And now I'll just give you guys a quick news update of what's happening around the world before I pass over to our news anchor of today, which is Mubaris. So just going to the newspapers first around the UK. What are the papers saying? The papers are talking about the vaccine coming in. The Eye says that the UK is preparing to carry out the first vaccinations against COVID-19 in the next 2 weeks. Um, and the Pittsburgh seeks clearance for a rollout of its vaccine. The health secretary is expected to outline plans on Friday. The newspaper adds, and in other newspapers talking about Christmas and how the lockdown will be finished before then, and how Boris Johnson promises to end what he called Britain's era of retreat. But the papers disagree on their figures, with the Times calling it a 16 billion spree, while the Telegraph says it's a war chest of 24 billion. And lastly, as you know, recently Mr. Cummings, his era has come to an end, and the Guardian, as the top aide, leaves a void at the heart of number 10. So these are the few things that have been going on. But I do hand over to Mubaris for this one, and just explain what's been going on in Pakistan and with Khadim Rizvi. Ji Mubaris.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. So, yeah, he is a very prominent leader from last 5 years. In 2015, when this guy who killed Salman Taseer, the murderer of Salman Taseer, he just play a politics on his dead body and say him and gave him a title as a Ghazi Qadri. So from that day, 2015, 2016, he came into politics. Before that, the worry thing is that he used to be a part of government sector. I think it's a weather forecasting department. He used to work there. He's really young. He was really in a young age. I was surprised when I saw it's only 54 years. So he used to be a government servant, and then after 2015, 2016, he just made his political party named as Tehreek al Pakistan TLP. Yep,
Yeah.
and then on the dead body, as I said, that of Ghazi Qadri. So after that, he's the one who involved politics, having a good mixture of politics and religious things together, and that's a poison for any society if you mix up and take your advantage by that. So in 5 years, this is the most fast growing party in Pakistan till now. That in 5 years has he has a very massive vote bank. Anyhow, he couldn't be able to get more seats in parliament, thank God, but he's still a very strong party. His both sons are always with him. We used to be with him in dharna, in protest, and everything. I am thinking that now his both son will take the lead on that now after his father's death. And the other things, these are the
Mm.
conspiracies theories that yes, day before yesterday, he just bashed on army, Pakistan army, and on the same night he was he vanished from that protest place. He was not there anymore after 10 minutes when he said that I will tell
Mm.
that who did this like on whose instruction I did this dharna in 2015, and then now I will reveal that today. And after 5 minutes of his statement, he was not there anymore and no one knows where he is. And after half an hour, it was revealed that Maulana Sahab Rahmahullah has passed away. So these are the conspiracy theories. We are not like it was like a natural death, seems to be a natural death, But these are the things which is these are the news in political current affair which is revolving that
Yeah.
these two scenarios of political death and or a natural death.
Yeah.
So this is the case, and this is the party who always pushed Imran Khan to be clear on the stance of Khatm Nawat. Whenever Imran Khan said anything, this is his office where he is clarifying and making a selfie video, recording a selfie video that I believe on Khatm Nawat. And this is the man who pressurized him. This is the party who always involved, because this party's main slogan and like slogan is, or motto is, Tajdar Khatm Nawat, that they
Mm.
are the crown of Khatm Nawat. So they are holding the crown of Khatm Nawat, and no one can come after the Holy Prophet. So they are actually doing a umumi duty on Tahfuz Khatm Nawat. No one can come after Hazur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This is our proof that if there is no one is coming, then why you are protecting Khatm Nawat? In Quran it is revealed, and Allah has said in Quran that if, according to them, Allah has said that there will be no messenger after Muhammad, then why are you protecting that? Who is coming for you? If you have a strong belief no one can come, then you have to be fine. You said that that's fine, but they are playing card on this. They are playing the religious card. Depend on situation, political card, religious card, emotional card. So this party is like a real danger for Pakistan politics, Pakistan religious parties, and for as Ahmadis as well.
Yeah.
So Imran Khan has really like always been pressure of this party, because this party was founded in 2015 and Imran Khan was prime minister in 2018. So this is the peak of his party, and this is on parallel. This is the peak of Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan as well.
Mm.
So that's the thing which I want to discuss. Yeah, Jazakallah.
Great insight, Jazakallah about us talking from Birmingham North there. We have, I just wanted to point this out because we have to make it clear that obviously we don't mention these things and we're not happy over anyone's death. In fact, if anything, we pray for everyone. The thing that is relatable to us is that if you see here, the Al Jazeera News picked this up, and they have mentioned Ahmadiyya sect within their newspaper, which is big. The fact that they're even mentioning the name of Ahmadiyyat. And this man would stand in protest against Ahmadis openly. So this is why it's really important to know who these people are in Pakistan, and know their background, because this is really important for our knowledge as well. Because we're talking about Maulvis all the time, this, that, but until we know the faces, until we know the people who actually talk against us and who are stopping that law from being overturned, that Ahmadis are Muslims, Ahmadis are Muslims. Um, these are the
And
people
you
who are.
know, Ravi Sahib, this man could not be able to stand as well. His both legs are he's like his in an accident he lost his both legs,
Mm,
so there is no legs as well. And this is the result. Whenever wherever anything happen in Pakistan, Ahmadis has to face the consequences. Now you see that 31 year of age, that guy, the young guy, MD doctor, has been
yeah,
killed in his house. So anywhere in Pakistan, anything happened religiously, they will blame us, and they will take an action on us as well. And government will be silent on this. Otherwise, they have to they have to give the clarification that we are believer of Khatm Nabuwwat. So they cannot do anything. They are the slaves of Maulvis now.
yeah. And just touching upon that, there's very sad news that just came recently, just today, in fact, about family doing Jummah in their own homes and a young teenager coming and opening fire on them. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. This is very sad that Ahmadis are still going through this, and we pray that inshallah it comes to an end. So Jazakallah Mubarak for that update, and I hope everyone learned something from this. Sticking with you, Mubarak, I know there's for more happy news in the sporting world. The Karachi Well, you can explain this. Yes, what happened
This
here?
is the yes. I want to discuss this as well because um, this this PSL, Pakistan Super League, a cricket league, as like IPL, Indian Premier League. This is really important for Pakistani and the cricket lovers because in Pakistan, 90% of the people are playing this game. So, Karachi, India, or Karachi and Lahore is like a rivalries, and it's same like as a tense situation always when they are in front of each other. It's the same situation as in the Pakistan India match. So I don't know why they are rivalries, but they are actual very like this is the good for the brand of IPL or brand of PSL as well, that the final everyone was craving for this match, that from the season 1 it's the season 5, that there should be a final between I always say Pakistan India, but it's Karachi versus Lahore. It's like a rivalries, two rivalries against each other. So it's in the game of sports, and thankfully it's only in the game of sports, not in a personal life.
Hmm. So, do you have any personal affiliation to the Karachi Kings cricket
I
team?
am from Karachi and I was wearing Karachi shirt at that time, and I was wearing Ajrak, the Sindh, because Karachi is the capital of Sindh. Sindh is the province of Pakistan. So I was wearing a special chadar, shawl of Sindhi, and wearing a Pakistani Karachi King shirt as well. So whenever there is a match, we are really excited, and our whole family are very much into it. And in Dubai, last four season was played in Dubai, last four season of PSL, and I regularly watch that. In I regularly go to Dubai Stadium to watch these matches.
Yeah.
So now it's in Pakistan, so couldn't be able to watch there.
It's good to see hear some good news coming out of Pakistan. You know, the cricket
Oh yeah,
has always been something good, so it's good that we have something to shout about. So Jazakallah Mubarak, good updates there. And for the football lovers, as you know, there is some sad news in football as well. It's not all good news. The Clark left his job as head of the FA on Tuesday because he used some bad language, and it's really sad because for years and years we're always talking about justice for Joy Floyd. Say no to racism, and many people wear jerseys, and most of the people in football actually, they're very understanding because they go from club to club, they play in different cultures, and they learn to accept other people's cultures. An average footballer can speak about one or two languages, or two to three languages, all the best ones, in fact. So that in itself shows that players, they love they love each other. They love the culture, they love people's backgrounds. But it's people on the top, who have been using bad languages and things like this, which is wrong. So I just wanted to pick this up, and because we're living in a time where everyone's talking about human rights and justice for all, and sports is a great way to promote that. So this was it. And if we lastly touch on the weather in Midlands, and this is the weather in Walsall right now. It's been raining, mainly dry day with plenty of sunny spells. Although these will be hazy in places, light winds, but it will be a touch chillier. After a sunny start on Monday, it will be a cloudy day with a few showers pushing in from the west in the afternoon by brisk southwesterly wind. Milder Tuesday will be mainly cloudy and dry with a chance of a few dots of rain. So it's a bit glum, a bit grey, as it is most of the time in Midlands, but there's always some happiness that there will be a bit of sunshine. So this was a quick news update. Jazakallah everyone for joining. My name is Sumaya Jahangir, and this was K News. Jazakallah. We have one more segment just before we go to our talker today, Ataunur Hadim Rabbi Silsila from Jama, UK. And because we're talking about, Khadim Rizvi, about Ahmadiyyat, what is Ahmadiyyat, and what are the teachings of Ahmadiyyat? And in fact, I was talking to someone just yesterday, and they were telling me a very interesting story, and I couldn't believe it when I heard it. And he's saying that he has a friend in the UK, and he went to get asylum, and he went to the the place where you apply for asylum. And the people said to him, and he's Pakistani, and he said to him, either you can apply for gay marriage, or you can claim to be a Qadiani and then apply from that. And I was like, okay, which one did he choose? And guess what he chose? He went down for gay marriage. And I was like, really? And he's like, yes. He goes, this is how much people have been told bad things about Ahmadiyyat, that they won't even accept it. But they'll throw away their faith, and just to get asylum, they will go down the other path. And I was like, who did he choose to marry? That's the question. That's the real question. This is the level that people are ready to scrap their faith and move as far away from Ahmadiyyat as they can. So upon this, I just wanted to just play this video of Ahmadiyyat 101, which breaks Ahmadiyyat down in a very nice way, so that we also have it clear about what our teachings are. So I'll just play this and then we can discuss it afterwards as well.
So why are Ahmadis declared as non-Muslim? This is a question which continues to baffle not just Ahmadi Muslims, but lots of others too. Why are Ahmadis non-Muslim when they have the same kalima, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah? They follow the 5 pillars of Islam, the 6 articles of faith. They believe the Holy Prophet ﷺ to be the final law-bearing prophet. They follow the Holy Quran, the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet. They pray 5 times a day. Ahmadis have never introduced a new teaching within the religion of Islam, neither taken anything away. So essentially, this question is for those who claim that Ahmadis are non-Muslims. They have to prove it. Now, that being said, seemingly the scholars of Islam have come to a consensus that since Ahmadi Muslims believe in Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi Islam's claim to prophethood, that is why they are declared as non-Muslims. And also that Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salam said that he's the second metaphorical coming of Jesus alayhi salam, and said that Jesus is dead. These scholars say that no prophet now will ever walk the earth. And they say that Ahmadis are in denial of Khatm Nabuwwat, which is the finality of prophethood. And that's why they are non-Muslims. Now, let me explain this. This so-called consensus of the Muslim scholars is extremely problematic, but also very contradictory. Firstly, according to the Quran and the Sunnah, no one has the right to declare another outside the fold of Islam a complete non-Muslim, especially if that person says that they are Muslim. Secondly, Ahmadi Muslims actually believe in the finality of prophethood in the most complete manner. The Holy Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wasn't just the last law-bearing prophet. There's no greatness in being last or at the end of the queue. Rather, he was also the seal of the prophets, the greatest prophets. And now with his attestation, his signature, with his approval, can a prophet come within Islam who would follow the Holy Prophet, who would follow the Quran, who would follow the Sunnah. Now, here's the interesting part. Most of the Muslim world is actually awaiting a prophet to come, Prophet Jesus alayhi salam. In fact, in Sahih Muslim, one of the most authentic books of hadith, when talking about the second coming of Jesus alayhi salam, which of course Ahmadi Muslims say is a metaphorical prophecy, the Holy Prophet actually called Jesus Nabiullah, which means the Prophet of Allah. And he didn't say this once. Rather, in the same narration, he said this 4 times. It's an authentic hadith which cannot be escaped. Now, our other Muslim brothers and sisters believe that Jesus alayhi salam will literally come down. But won't that then make him the last prophet? What will happen to their understanding of Khatm Nabuwwat, the finality of prophethood? What will happen to the verses of the Holy Quran which say that Jesus alayhi salam was a prophet of Allah? Will they have to be removed, God forbid? Will, God forbid, Allah strip away the great honor of prophethood from Jesus alayhi salam? Of course he will be a prophet and there's no escaping it. And Muslim scholars are actually now confused and torn over this matter. Will Jesus be a prophet or not? In reality, the Muslim world is actually awaiting a prophet who will walk this earth after the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And theologically, there's only really one difference between Ahmadi Muslims and other Muslims. Whether an old prophet will come, a borrowed prophet, i.e. Jesus, or whether the light of Islam will give birth to a new Messiah, a new Prophet of Allah who will come through the spiritual grace, the spiritual power of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and will follow the Quran and the Sunnah. Therefore, Ahmadi Muslims believe in the finality of prophethood, Khatm Nabuwwat, in the most majestic, rational manner, just as the Quran describes it. And ironically, on the basis of Khatm Nabuwwat, finality of prophethood, they are declared as non-Muslim. Ahmadis are Muslims, whether the world likes it or not. And Allah is supporting Islam Ahmadiyya.
Brilliant video there. Breaks Ahmadiyya down into very easy bite-sized teachings. And this is simply what we believe in. And there's no two ways about it. But unfortunately... Almost getting excited. Yeah, so that's Ahmadiyyat 101 for you. And they're making more and more videos. There's 3 videos now. So guys, do try and check them out. Okay, guys, now we are very privileged and honored to have a guest speaker today. I'm sure you guys will all benefit from him. We were supposed to have 2 others, as I mentioned before, but for some reason or other, we weren't able to have them. But last minute, Noor Hadi, the savior, he managed to step in. Just a brief introduction before I bring you in, Noor. You are someone, I think. Yeah, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Noor Hadi, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Welcome.
Is the connection all right for my side? Because
Yeah.
I'm in the jungles.
You're in my ends in Islamabad.
Yeah.
Noor Hadi, before we get you in, just a brief introduction how we met. Well, we knew each other before you even went to Jamia, before I went to Jamia, in fact. But our relationship really strengthened. I feel when we meet each other in Jamia. And Noor Hadi, Bengali brother, his older brother is also Murabi, who's serving in Australia at the moment. So mashallah, 2 brothers are both missionaries. But on a personal level, we've always had a very good friendship, and I've always seen him as my little brother. And whenever he asks for guidance, and I'm always there to try and give it to him. So the guys who are thinking about joining Jamia, inshallah, in the next few years, Noor Hadi was also one of them. So when I was in Jamia, he was coming to me asking me for help. How do I get into Jamia? What's the procedure? And I'm really happy that he's now come out on the other side, alhamdulillah. And recently just finished Jamia. And you guys may have seen on MK this week with Huzur how there's one particular class who's been sitting with Huzur and been being able to learn from beloved Huzur. So Noor Hadi, alhamdulillah, is one of those students. So inshallah, we'll get a really good insight into, why he accepted to go to Jamia, his life in Jamia, routine in Jamia, and also we'll hear a little bit about his new posting, which just recently he. So we'll get to that. Something I'll leave it as a surprise for all of you, but it's something which made me happy, because I know that Noor Hadi is someone that can go out and he will get the job done. So Noor, how are you today? How's life?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for having me on. It's quite an honor that you actually chose me out of all of the other Murabbis and all the other class fellows that I have as well. So I was very, very humbled by the fact that you actually called me. Just to let you guys know, you called me like 40 minutes ago, telling me to fill in for the other 2 that couldn't make it. So if I'm a bit unprepared, then do forgive me. But alhamdulillah, I'm very well.
Don't worry, all of us are unprepared when they come. It's just I pick on them. Noor, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know I've given my side, but your journey up before you decided to go Jamia. What was your background like? Where were you born? Where was your education? And do you know anyone on the call here today?
I think I know Amar Sab very well. We do a lot of salam dua here and there. There's a guy called Tron. I'm assuming his name's Sabur in real life. I don't know why he's got himself called Tron here. But yeah, Sabur's a really, really good friend of mine, and he's seen me since probably longer than you have. So
definitely.
But yeah, it would be nice if a lot of people had their cameras on as well, so it would be more engaging and interactive. But if they can't, it's fine. But Sabur, I'm sure you can put your camera on as well, because say salam. Actually, after Mirza Sawi, I can see him, but I don't think we've ever met before. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, okay, so I don't know, brief introduction about myself. I don't know, I'm just like every other Khadim, just like you guys, who was born in London, UK. And I'm actually just like Humayo, non-Pakistani. My parents are actually Bangladeshi, and they're Bengali, if you want to call it. So me growing up, I actually was always around the whole Jamaat atmosphere and stuff. So I wouldn't say there's much that I can tell you about myself as a person or as an individual. I'm just like every other Khadim. So I think it's best to just skip past this question and we can talk about Jamia and stuff like that. Yeah.
Definitely. But going to Jamia, of course, you just, just get into Jamia. You need to,
Yeah.
it's a matter of the heart. You've got to really want to become a Murabbi. So why did you, I never actually asked you actually, why did you want to ever become a Murabbi?
Interestingly enough, that's a question I think it's quite oftenly asked to all Jamia students and Murabbis, and I think it's something that every Murabbi or Jamia student, if anyone's here is actually considering joining as well, I think you should start thinking about it from now as well, because you're going to be asked it in the future. So I would have been happier if I actually rehearsed something like this and had something in my pocket that I can just pick out and just read out every time someone asks me the question. But I think it all stems from there's a lot of aspects to it. You can call it, there are aspects when it comes to schooling, or just if you're not relating it to Jamaat or anything, if you take that aspect, then I think the reason that I joined Jamia from that aspect would be because, when I went to school, my friend circle were very multicultural and very, some were like Christian, I had a Hindu friend, I had a few non-Muslim friends, and, we always used to have like different discussions about Ahmadiyyat and Islam and everything. And at the time, me growing up as a teenager in Southwest London, I never really had any answers about Ahmadiyyat as per se. I could just generally tell you that, yeah, we believe in Islam and that these are the fundamentals of Islam, but the nitty-gritty stuff that people need to know, or Ahmadis need to know, I didn't have that knowledge. So a lot of that came from there. So in school and stuff, we'd have a lot of discussions, and I would get into a lot of debates and questions, and I would be asked a lot of questions, in fact, about our faith, and it was really hard to actually answer these questions. So that kind of ignited like a spirit inside me, thinking, I want to learn more. And I remember I would come after school and stuff, and those questions I would actually search up on YouTube, and I would find a lot of Khalifa Rabi videos. Yeah, and Khalifa Rabi really inspired me in that sense. That Khalifa Rabi's personality, the way he answered questions, and the way he just went about with his business as a Khalifa, or even before Khilafat, actually. Our beloved Huzur, our President Huzur, was actually telling us that Huzur, before his Khilafat, was into his whole question answer sessions, and he would actually sit with a lot of people and, have question answer sessions. And whenever people would go to Rabwa, Khalifa, the third Khalif, would actually say, go to Mia Tahir, or i.e. the Khalifa Rabi, go to his question answer sessions and listen to it. So he had that strong magnetic personality where he would, be able to engage the audience and talk to them and answer their questions. And interestingly enough, he also went to Jamia, and he was also a Murabbi. So that also kind of inspired me, because I really wanted to be like how he was. And then obviously that came about, and I would always watch his videos and stuff like that, and I would try to mimic him and go back to schools and stuff like that. There came a point where actually the thought was in my mind that, maybe Jamia, and I actually raised it to one of my teachers. So, and that kind of solidified it for me at that time, because one of my teachers asked or presented a question to the class saying that, does anyone have an idea what they want to do when they become older? And I must have just shot my hand sharp, and I said, I want to become an Murabbi, or I told her I want to become an imam for my community, right? And she just looked at me strange. She was like, isn't that a bit extreme or a bit absurd? And I was like, what? And everyone was a bit confused as well. And then I realized that, society now has a random, even if our peers are like, the people that we are meant to look up to, even they have something ingrained in their head that Islam's something backward. And, this kind of, and we know as Khadims or Khuddam that, our religion is not like that. We go to the mosque, we have a laugh. Our faith kind of drives us through this difficult period as well. We can have a laugh and sit down together and stuff. And then at that time, when my teaching, I realized, basically showed that she thinks Islam's a bit backwards as well. I realized that, I want to try to change this somehow, even if I'm just like a little pebble in big C. I want to be able to change some mindsets or some stigmas or some things that people have in their minds about Islam. So that kind of led me to actually say, you know what, I want to learn my religion properly, and I want to show to people what Ahmadiyya truly is. And so bringing it back to, I think, the faith side aspect of it, I'm a Waqf Noor, so meaning that, you know, my parents did devote me that one day I will serve the Jamaat. So it was always in the back of my head that, okay, one day I'm going to have to, or I will serve the Jamaat, but what's the best way that I can serve the Jamaat? And I think, you know, I asked a lot of people, and you try to figure out which way kind of accommodates your personality or which way it suits you. So, you know, some people who are very, very smart or have a very high level of IQ, or they smash their maths and science exams, but they're a bit introvert, they might go into the field of medicine and stuff, and, you know, perfect for them. They can serve the Jamaat that way. But for me, I wasn't really that genius in school where I could feel like I could do like smash out science and, you know, have this introvertness to myself. I was always like wanting to meet people, talk to them, and, you know, stuff like that, right? So I realized that being a Murabbi, just like you look have seen by just watching Humayun Sahab in all these videos and the past couple of months that he's been in the Jamaat, you know, how engaging and how, like, he's basically like a youth worker. Basically, he's like working with you guys, and that really kind of drew me in, because, you know, that aspect of Murabbi's life is amazing, where you get to meet people, you have those connections and personal deep connections with people that you don't even call your family, right? So those things were really inspiring as well, right? So that's something that actually kind of drove me to becoming a let's say Jamia student, I'd say. I don't want to like go on too long, so yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of other questions.
Yeah, you didn't prepare the answer. It sounded pretty good.
No.
No, mashallah. I totally echo that point about this is the most rewarding bit, guys. I tell you guys every single week, my favorite part of the week when I come on and I get to talk to all of you, because these are the rewarding things. And like Noor said, being a Murabbi is so many aspects to it, but it's about what accommodates you the most. You know, we have Noor in your own family. You have your oldest brother who works in MTA. Sabur as well. You know, mashallah, has done so much work in MTA. Everyone has their own way where they can help the Jamaat, and everyone has their own jobs. Inshallah, when you do work in the future, you need to look at how's my job going to benefit the Jamaat in some way. How am I going to use what I have, what Allah has given me, the faculties I have, to try and benefit the Jamaat in some way. And we need to take every opportunity that we can. So like myself, Noor as well, this is the path that you wanted to go down, because you felt like this will be the most rewarding for you, and you will be able to serve back in the best way through that capacity. So Jazakallah for that. So you've gave a great answer. So how's that feeling of, you know, your past life, you know, shutting off and then going into something else, going to 7 years? You know, it's a long journey. Getting into that, how was that feeling? And
yeah, it was actually it was really different, because for me, it wasn't the typical wait till high school, year 11 finish, GCSE happen, and then you know that you're going Jamia. I hadn't made my mind up till let's say midway through my A levels actually. So before I actually went to Jamia, I did my GCSEs, and at that time I was still a bit unsure, and I just thought, let me go into A levels and think about it a bit more and see what I actually want to do and stuff like that. And it was in, let's say, midway through my A levels where, you know, life was, let's say, how you guys would say, you know, very laid back and casual. And, you know, I was enjoying being with my family at home and everything. And then randomly, I don't know, something just, everyone has this calling. I had this calling, and then a lot of Huzur's love and guidance as well. I think in those days, Huzur was also emphasizing a lot on the fact that if there are, actually, interesting enough, before that khutbah, so we had a family mulaqat with Huzur actually, and in that mulaqat, Huzur asked me what I wanted to do, and I couldn't really give like a clear answer, nor could my parents. Even my parents were like, okay, this is our last child, we don't know what to do with him, right? So even I was a bit confused. So Huzur at that time was like, it's fine, just pray, do your exams, come back to me some of the time, something like that, right? He never gave me a clear answer either. But I think it was that same week or that week after in Huzur Khutbah, he gave like a sermon, and near the end of the sermon, he emphasized that a lot of students or Khuddam come to me in my mulaqats, and they seem very confused. And I say to them that these Khuddam should actually go to Jamia and become Murabbis and serve the Jamaat that way. So for me, I don't know if that was like directed to me or Huzur had me in his mind at that time, but for me, that was really special. And I think, I was like, you know what, I actually went to my school and, I didn't drop out of my A-levels, but I told my teacher that, I'm not going to finish this. So like, if there's a way that we can like keep me here, finish this year off, and then I can go somewhere else. So that's the whole story in itself. But yeah, I got through my AS and alhamdulillah, I went to Jamia. And yeah, Jamia itself was different. It was really different. I don't know how many people here are actually considering or even thinking about Jamia at the moment.
We have about 4.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's good. Yeah, so Jamia itself, I would say Jamia is like a whole. You know how there's that saying that it's a world of its own. It's not a world of its own. I think Humayun would agree with me. It's literally a universe in its own. Now that I finished Jamia, I never understood that as well. When people used to finish Jamia, they used to say, yeah, Jamia is like a whole life of its own. I was like, it's pretty much the same as like every other life, but it's actually once you finish Jamia, you realize that Jamia is like a whole globe of its own. Like there's everything going on that's separate from the world. It's just like Huzur sent you to a place which is present in this world, but it's actually not in this world, because you feel like everything. I would wake up in the morning, I would think, what day is it today? Or, what month is it? Or, some days I would just lose track of time. And it was just like, if anyone's seen like Dragon Ball Z or something, if you've been to the hyperbolic time chamber where like time and space is just not the same as, how life is outside. It was like that. So a week would feel like, I don't know, my first week in Jamia felt like a month. I was like, what's going on, right? So, well, in that sense, in the beginning, it was a huge jump, because Jamia is like a place where it teaches you so many different things. So for me as a teenager, going from a person who would wake up in the morning, unfortunately, I wouldn't even make my bed. I would get up, I would go downstairs, look at the time, I have like 10 minutes to get to school. I would grab a glass of milk, down that milk, and just jump on the bus and go to school, and then spend the school day, and then come home, and then just like probably just slouch on the couch or just do my homework, and that'll be it. From that to Jamia, where they have this whole set routine for you, and they literally try to chisel you away for 7 years until you become that person that they want you to be, right? So in the beginning, it can be a bit challenging. So they're telling you to wake up at like Fajr time before everyone else, so you can do some Nafil prayers, or do Bajmat Fajr with everyone else, and then they have the time to do do some Quranic reading and stuff, and focus on ponder of the Quran and stuff. Well, as a Khadim, I can personally say I didn't do that when I was a Khadim, but that in Jamia was new to me. So after Fajr, sit down, read the Quran, and try to actually absorb what it is. And then right after that, you would think, okay, I could probably sleep till probably maybe 9, 10 a.m. That's not the case. Then you have breakfast that you need to have, because if you didn't, more times than anything, it wasn't because it would affect me as a person. I know it's my individual choice. I want to have breakfast or not. But Jamia was such a funny thing that my teachers would grill us if we didn't have breakfast. So I had to like build a habit of even having breakfast. So before like Jamia, I wouldn't, me and my cup of milk, I would just down that. I thought, okay, I can just do that for Jamia as well. But I realized the Jamia periods and lessons were so like extensive, or like there's so much to take in. If you didn't have breakfast, you would have like a headache, or you just be out of it, right? And the teachers knew that. So in the beginning, in like the first period, one of our senior teachers would come in, and he would be like, oh, who hasn't had breakfast today? And if you put your hand up and you haven't, you would probably just get grilled on the spot there. But that, at the time, I didn't understand. I thought, wow, what's going on, man? Like outside, no one's asking me if I have had breakfast or not. If I went to school, if I went to college, my teachers didn't care about that. But in Jamia, they made sure that, this is an important meal of the day. You need to build this into your lifestyle as well. So they even focus on breakfast. That's how crazy it is, right? So after a few months or 3 weeks, I started having breakfast, and my routine was slowly falling into place, where then after having breakfast, I would feel way more energized. Those lessons felt much more easier to get through and understand, and so then all of those lessons would happen from like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then after 2 p.m., you'd think, okay, the day's over, you can probably just latch away, just watch stuff and stuff. But that's not the case either. Like, Huzur set let's say, a target for all Jamia students that they should do some form of sports or another for at least an hour or two, or workout at least, right? So having that in your mind, that also trains you throughout the day that, I need to have this during the day as well, that I need to work out, or, I need to fit this into my schedule. But long story short, like even after that, then you have like a study period and then so much going on during the day. So what I'm trying to explain is that Jamia is such a place that 7 years of that every single day, you don't even notice it yourself. But after those 7 years, you realize, oh wow, like you've actually shaped how to make a day in your life. You're not just waking up in the morning and not even making your bed, or you're not even just having breakfast, or you're confused or what to do next. Jam kind of teaches you how to let's say cherish time. It teaches you how to enjoy every moment, because I don't know, Humayus will probably agree with me. Before assembly, some people would have like 3-4 minutes and they would use those 3-4 minutes so wisely that they would get up from bed and do everything, and then in those 5-10 minutes, and literally if you do that for 7 years, you realize that you can literally use a minute and do so much in it. But yeah, these are some of the things that I learned in Jamia anyway, that it really made me learn how to, it didn't make me into, I wouldn't say I've turned into a scholar by going into Jamia for 7 years, but if I can say anything else, Jamia has taught me how to, number one, mold my day, for, let's say, make a routine, how to live by a disciplined routine. Number two, live with different types of people, because when you go to Jamia, there's so many different types of people. In the beginning, in my first year, I actually shared a room with I think 17 other students. So it was just one big room, and there was it was like how would I describe it? I don't know if you've seen like Holes or something like that movie, or any other army movie where people are living in one hostel and there's like 2 feet distance between each bed. It sounds really hard in the beginning, but the laughs and the enjoyment that you have at that time, you look back at it now and you realize every little thing is teaching you something. And I'm sure you've heard this from different Murabbis that you've spoken to in the past as well, but it really does something. And that is what I mean by you won't find this anywhere else in the world. You can say that, oh no, but you can do that at home. You can learn to learn to live with people when you go to your workplaces and stuff like that. But trust me, Jamia is something where just having the environment where you're waking up together, spending the whole day together, then going to sleep at the same time, around having those temperaments where one person wants to keep the window open, another person wants to keep it closed, one person wants to keep the heater on. It really, if you're just like how I was before Jamia, I was a bit short-tempered. I wanted things my way. If I want to do something, I will do it. If I don't want, I don't. And it's all of that. But Jamia really teaches you that, step back. You need to understand that it's not all about you. There's this many people around you, and one core teaching of Islam and a way of finding happiness in life itself, is that forget about yourself and put others before you. So that really taught me that throughout the day, where if, for example, I want to do this, I need to think, okay, how is this going to affect someone else? And if it affects him, then I shouldn't do it, or something like that, right? Doing that for 7 years, after a while, you just become second nature, where you're not really thinking about yourself, you're more concerned about other people. And that's what a Murabi basically is. And that's why a very interesting way of how Jamia puts into your mind that it's not indoctrinating you every day, saying that, oh, you must serve others, you must serve others. It literally subtly in behind the scenes does it in a way where you're not even realizing it yourself, but after 7 years, you're just looking out for others, and you're trying to put yourself before or after others and everything, right? So yeah, that's the Jamia routine and how what Jamia teaches you. I don't know, I'm waffling away, so if there's anything else, do
no, you're unlocking some dark memories of mine, especially when you mentioned the 2-3 minutes before assembly. Guys, the scene is literally, you see when you put bird seeds and you just see loads of birds just running or flying to get the seeds. It's literally that in the last 2-3 minutes before, because there's a reason why. Because if you do come a second after the bell has gone, so we have these really loud bells that go on. If you come a second after that, then you can't sit in the assembly room. You're gonna have to make sure you stand up, and you have to watch the assembly standing up for the next half an hour. Not only that, but while you're standing up, you're gonna get the whole Jamia walk past you, line by line, by class, and they're gonna look at you, and they're gonna be giving you the eyes, and they're gonna be saying, "You're."
And literally, after a while, after a few of those, you fix up yourself. You're just thinking you know what, I need to fix this up, and you realize you start you learn how to actually maintain time and how to live on time schedule and how to have an actual proper discipline schedule.
Yeah, I think those things. Although, would you say Jamia is strict?
I would say it's strict, but at the same time, it's not unnecessarily strict, if that makes sense. A lot of the things at the time, I'm going to be real with you. If there's someone here that's saying that they want to go Jamia, I'm not going to sell them sugar-coated dreams. Say that it's literally heaven on earth, and you're going to go there, and it's not unnecessarily strict. Everything's good for you. There are times where it's going to be very tedious, and it's going to disturb your mind, thinking like, why am I doing it this way? Where I could be at home and I would have to do this. But like I said, when you look at in a broad, like a bigger picture, basically, you as a person and as an individual, you only think about today, tomorrow, and to the extent next week or maybe next month, right? But Jamia is something that literally looks at you as a person, and then takes you out, and then there's a whole 7 years around you, and whatever they're making you do in that day is something that's going to affect you in the long term of 7 years, or literally in the future when you're a person or an asset for the Jamaat. So yeah, at the time, when you go back to the question, is it strict? I wouldn't say it's unnecessarily strict. There are certain aspects to it that might be strict, where they're telling you, go to sleep at 10 p.m., switch the lights off, or wake up at this time, or eat at this time, or go to lesson, or don't do this, or don't do that. So where every aspect of your life is being dictated, and you feel like, where's my personal choice in this? You realize that once you do get a whole world of personal choices after 7 years, those dictations in your head is what actually shapes you and keeps you disciplined in the future. So that's why I say it's not unnecessary. I think like those people who actually lived by those things that they consider strict during Jamia, after Jamia, they're the ones who have it really easy, because it really helps them, and they realize that it's just become second nature. And now that they don't have someone in their ear telling them, do this, do that, do this, do that, they can just do it naturally without being disturbed or anything like that. So yeah.
Yes, brilliant. I would echo everything you've said so far. We can literally sit here and we can talk about each and every aspect of Jamia, and we'll be here for a long, long time. The one thing for me personally, and what I want to share with you guys, is the brotherhood within Jamia is probably the thing that attracts most people and keeps them there a lot of the time. And it's not just within your own class. One of the greatest things about Jamia is that we have houses, and it's a bit like Harry Potter. You have Gryffindor, you have the Slytherins. So with us as well, we make fun of each house, and we compare them to Slytherins or Gryffindor as well. But the beautiful thing about that is, like, a few students from each of the years are put into the groups. So you have the most senior people in the same group as the most junior people, and that as well is really important for us, so that we can all mold together and learn from each other. And I think for and that's me and Nur, we're in the same group, the best group in Jamia, by the way. Anyone who's going to Jamia, Shajaat, meaning courage and bravery, make sure you join them, because we left a good legacy behind, didn't we? But yeah, there's so many aspects of Jamia. So I think we've covered life in Jamia very well. But one thing which we haven't talked about yet, Nur, and I think it's the most important thing, is Khilafat.
Yeah.
Is our connection with Huzur. And how did your life change from before having just family mulaqats, and then suddenly it's just you and Huzur? How was that change, and how was that relationship?
Yeah, I think that it's a deep question. I think before Jamia, if I'm totally honest and without trying to act or high and mighty or self-righteous or anything, I would say that before Jamia, as a Khadim, I didn't understand Khilafat, or to that extent. I thought, yeah, there is Khilafat. He's the leader, and he's leading this many millions of people in the world, and he's very busy and stuff like that. And we have mulaqats with him where he'll guide you, because alhamdulillah, we know that he has a relationship with God. But as a normal individual or as a khadim, you don't understand the extent of that relationship, or that extent of what khilafat is. And I think if I didn't go to Jamia, would I ever understand that? I don't know, because I still know people who are much older than me, or people who, let's say when I went to Jamia, they chose a different path. And now we meet up again. They're simply at the same stage that they were 7 years ago when I joined Jamia, and they still see Khilafat in that same mindset, or in the same eye. But because of Jamia alone, I can literally say that I think it taught me that Khilafat is something that And, you know, we're always hearing in ijtimas and meetings and general meetings and, you know, different stuff like hold on to Khilafah, write to him daily and this and that. And until you've experienced huzur firsthand, it can be a bit difficult to understand. But Jamia, that's what something that Jamia taught me. I realized that, you know, in Jamia, when you go, alhamdulillah, especially Jamia UK, which is, it has its own uniqueness to it, is because we get to see huzur so closely. And, you know, alhamdulillah, we had, you know, mulaqats, let's say every 2-3 months or so. And for that, to even say that to someone outside, they're like, what? Every 2-3 months? How is that even possible? Because people outside, I actually was speaking to someone in PS recently, and they were saying that, you know what, they've got this new rule that if you want to meet huzur, because he's become so busy and because there's so many Ahmadis now, you have to wait like a year or 2. So for me, that was a great honor that, you know what, we're having as students getting this much time from huzur to learn from him and stuff. And what I actually wanted to get to is that in those 7 years, I realized huzur wasn't this political kind of leader that you would see on TV, or he wasn't this celebrity that you would see on TV and stuff like that, that you just feel awe-inspired to just because you see him so much in pictures and social media and stuff like that. But the reason why he's so awe-inspiring is because of who he is. Like, the minute you meet him, I'm sure you guys have all felt it, you have that, you feel a bit blown away. But, you know, you can ask yourself that, is this because I see him so much on social media? Is this because I see him on Jummah every day or every week? Is this because of this a bit of a psychological thing going on? But it's actually not. You know, the more time you spend with huzur, you realize you see more and more of his amazing qualities that he has. You know, a person who has an ability, and I can say this, put my hand on my heart and say that he can literally make every single person feel special and make you feel so unique, but give it to everyone at the same time. So me, for example, me and my classmates, we all think that huzur loves us the most, like as an individual first. We were like, no, huzur done this with me, huzur did this with me. And that minute or that few moments that you spend with huzur, he makes you feel like you're the most closest person to him. And like there's no one else more close to him than you are. And you feel so happy. But then you go out and then you realize that he's made everyone else feel that same way. And you're just thinking, how does he do this? And he makes you realize that, you know, he literally just shows you, like, you know, all the morals and everything, all the teachings in the Quran. It's like you put all of that together and you put it into a person, and then you have a human being in front of you. So yeah, so Jamia for me really made me realize the fatherly figure that huzur has, and, you know, how much of a father figure he is. And, you know, I can literally just tell you guys that, yeah, huzur is very loving and stuff like that. But throughout Jamia, there were certain experiences where, you know, at times where I felt like, you know, I wanted to leave Jamia or something because it was a bit too difficult, or maybe there was certain stuff that maybe it could be like financially things maybe you're affected by or stuff like that. And if we went for huzur's prayers or his concern, or, you know, how he actually thinks about you so, you know, carefully, you know, sometimes you wouldn't even get through. And like, there's one incident, I think, I don't know if you guys read it, that I actually shared with the Review Religions people, and I cherish that till this day. And if to cut it short, it was once that I went for Mulaqat, and I think I had like some shoes that were a bit run down, or they were a bit damaged, right? And huzur has this much concern and care for like every Jamia student that he noticed. And I was shocked, like, how did huzur notice? But he said, okay, what's wrong with your shoes? Like, and he told me to get new ones, and that's it. And the Mulaqat went on. And that was literally a passing, fleeting moment right in the beginning of the Mulaqat for like 10 seconds. And then the Mulaqat finished, I went home, right? Or I went back to Jamia. But literally like 2 weeks later, I think I was still going to Islamabad for namaz and stuff with those same shoes. And I don't know if Huzur noticed or not, but 2 weeks later, I get a call that Huzur's called you to the office and that he's bought you some new shoes. And I was like, what? I don't know why. And I asked Munisa, he's like, I don't know why myself. I wrote to Huzur straight away to thank him and stuff. And Huzur said that, you know, he basically said that he's being, you know, it's just been in his mind. And you think like, how is that possible? Like, he has so millions of people in the world and that he has to cater for, he has to like respond to letters and everything. Why is it that he's thought about me? And it's indescribable. You just think like, this person's, if there's any like superhero in the world, I could literally say that Huzur has this. And if there was like a scientist who was to test Huzur's brain or something like that, I would say that they would be shocked at the results, because literally it's just indescribable. Like, why did Huzur think about me when there's so many other concerns he has in the world? There's so many different countries presenting their issues to Huzur and stuff. But Huzur makes literally everyone in Jamia, especially in Jamia, feel so special. And I can literally say that I've experienced that at first hand, and I wouldn't just say that.
Yeah, I think the key thing is that we have made a sacrifice, and Huzur recognizes that. But at
Yeah.
the same time, how can the rest of us get close to Huzur? Huzur has opened his door to every single person, and the reason why he calls people from mulaqat, calls the families, because he wants to get to know you personally. And to get to know someone, you need to make that effort as well, and that's why all of us, we collectively need to make that effort. And it becomes a lot harder. I'll tell you after that, Noor, that it becomes harder after Jamia. It
Yeah.
becomes harder because you need to make that effort. You realize that you and Jamia, they're doing it for you. They say your mulaqats this day, this day, this day. But what do you do after that? How do you, when you've been separated from your loved one, what do? You're gonna have to make an effort to try and make that connection, keep it with you. And that's why for everyone it's really important, wherever you are. Zul keeps telling us, and people make this excuse that we think Zul's too busy. He won't have time for my letters. Who am I? I'm just no one. And in fact, Zul's one saying that every single person should write to me and continuously write to me and create that relationship with me. And then you'll see in your life how it will affect you. And everyone will have that moment in their life where they have been touched by the heart, by Huzur, and their hearts will be touched by him somehow. So going on from that, Noor, Jazakallah for a great talk so far, and it's been refreshing for me. And I always love talking about Huzur because it's endless joy, and it always opens our hearts and gives us that warm feeling. But now you have come on the other side. You've finished Jamia, alhamdulillah. You've had great experiences with Huzur. And recently I know that you have been posted as well. So could you share with everyone where you've been posted? After having all this, we've talked about you staying 7 years in Jamia, you having that relationship with Huzur, you being so comfortable within the UK, born, bred. You can't ask for more. And we're talking about, the distance between us and Huzur. So where have you been posted? And what was your first initial thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I think Jamia, like, before I just say the place, I would actually like to say that I think Jamia, one of the another good features of why I learned in Jamia was that, not just Jamia as it is, but Khilafat and Jamia put together, what it kind of taught me was the presence or the existence of God. And I know that's a bit cliche and it's easy to say that, but there's so many moments in Jamia where you realize that if there's anyone that you need in this world, it's God. You'll be put in so many different circumstances and scenarios where find Huzur is there, find your peers and your Jamia brothers are there and stuff. But a lot of times, I feel like it's Jamia, they have a way of putting you in certain situations where you know for yourself that you can't turn to anyone apart from God. And you don't get that. I mean, you can get that outside, but there's a lot of ways outside in the outside world where you could just turn to something else and find a solution that way or something like that. But in Jamia, it literally makes you remember God, or you just feel helpless. You just feel like, I have no help here. What can I do? And you turn to God, and it slowly becomes a habit. And going back to Khilafat, I remember at one point, just building up to this whole posting situation, I remember at one point in one of my mulaqats, I would have this habit of asking Huzur, how do I make a relationship with you, or how do I maintain a relationship with you, or let's say if I was to go somewhere far away, would you still remember me and stuff like that, right? I was so concerned about my relationship with Huzur that I think Huzur noticed as well, maybe. And then I remember Huzur very lovingly actually didn't put a stop, but he said, look, you've come to Jamia, you've devoted your life, you've basically got as close as to Khilafat as you basically can, and you can keep on going, but Khilafat isn't the goal here. He literally put him, he didn't even say, yeah, carry on writing to me, carry on meeting me, come fly wherever you're going away from, come back, meet me and stuff like that. Huzur literally put me to my place, and he made me realize that, what, Khilafat isn't the goal, it's literally only a medium. The only reason Khilafat is there is just to show you that God exists, because he does those supernatural things and these superhuman things that he can do to show you that God does exist, right? And he made me realize that, look, you've made the relationship with Khilafat, but now it's your goal, it's your duty to make that relationship with God, right? And it was really powerful at the time. And I felt like Jamia literally taught me that, fine, we all can't be close to Khilafat. We can write to him, we can ask for his prayers and blessings, right? But what we all can do, and easily, is make a relationship with God. And wherever you are and how far away you are from Khilafat, it doesn't matter. Some people envy others saying, oh, you're so close to Khilafat. I always tell them, but God's always around us. Like, you can just put your head on a prayer mat and you find God. Or there's so many ways of making a relationship with God that I didn't know, obviously, as a Khadim before Jamia. But throughout Jamia, I realized that there are certain things in life or certain reasons in life where without God it's really hard to get through. So yeah, to get to the posting. So Alhamdulillah, we've been here in Islamabad and we've been here for a few months because of the whole COVID and lockdown situation. We couldn't go to Pakistan and Africa and Spain and stuff for the training period. Humayya, so probably has told you in the past that when he passed Jamia, he went to Pakistan, Africa, and these places and got to gain a lot of training that way. For us, we've just literally been in Islamabad trying to be the manpower for Khuddam at the time, because you know how Khuddam regions come to Islamabad and do like duties and stuff, security duties. Because of the lockdown, obviously, the regions couldn't come. So Huzur said, just keep the graduating class that aren't able to go to these different countries, keep them here and make them do the duties. So we've been doing those duties. In the beginning, we thought, okay, fine, it's a big blessing. Slowly, it did get a bit tiring, but then you realize how close Huzur was keeping us. He was literally taking care of our meals. He's set literally a menu for us, our accommodation. So many times where Huzur's come out himself from his residence and spoken to us, gone for walks and stuff like that. I wouldn't have exchanged it for anything in the world. And then obviously we had those classes with Huzur, and then Huzur was teaching us himself and everything. But then randomly in this whole period of time, I randomly get a letter from Tabshir, and that kind of put, again, where I feel like where everything was just like monotone and everything's going as it is. You should, I feel any piece of advice I feel like as a humble person I can try give is that always stay on your toes, because you never know when life is just going to randomly change, right? So me thinking, okay, I'm just taking it easy every day, getting up, doing my duties, classes, reading books here and there and stuff like that. Randomly get a Tabshir letter, and then reality hits you, right? I get a letter from Tabshir, meaning the people that are in charge of, let's say, the waqfs and murabbis around the world. They send you a letter and it says, Mukarram Mr. Noor Hadi, graduate from Jamia in the UK. One line, beginning, Huzur Anwar has assigned you to Hong Kong. Please report to the country, and these are the details. And they go, and I was like, what? So I read it. I was thinking, sorry, like, that's it, right? So I asked them as well to Tabshir. I was like, yeah, it says that Huzur has assigned me to Hong Kong and to report to this guy, and that's it. He's like, yeah, that's it. I was like, what do you mean that's it? Like, that's it? And then they literally just throw you in the deep end, and that's when you realize that 7 years is now where it comes to play. And now, like, my whole world has just literally turned around, and I'm thinking every day, okay, what am I going to do? And then something I actually really share with you, which is really personal to me as well, is that when we were having these classes, in those classes, I kept on thinking that Huzur's assigned to me, but he hasn't said anything himself. So what's the case here? Like, as in, what's going on, right? So in the class, I was sitting there, and this is what I mean when I say Huzur is a superhero, or has some next supernatural abilities, right? I was sitting in the class, I was thinking, in my head, I was just sitting there, maybe daydreaming, thinking that does Huzur know that I'm going Hong Kong that far? Where is Hong Kong? What's the Jamaat situation there and everything? So I did my little bit of research. I was just sitting there thinking maybe Huzur will mention it to me or something. And Huzur looks at me whilst I was in those thoughts. He was like, Hanji, have you been told about the visa process? And I was just like, what? I was like, Gee, Huzur. And he was like, so you go, right? I was like, yeah. And then Huzur was like, and then he just smiled, and he was like, he said, yeah, he literally knew the state of the country more than I could even actually Wikipedia search beforehand. He literally told me about the, current climate, the religious climate, and he was saying that, though English is the official language there, you should also learn Cantonese with it, because it'll be good for you and stuff like that. So I was really shocked. And then Huzur actually very in a loving manner actually said, has your rishta been done? Like, have you found a suitable partner or something to get married to and stuff? So alhamdulillah, I'm engaged and everything. So I was able to say yes, Huzur, I'm engaged. Then Huzur was laughing, and Huzur was like, oh really? Because I was thinking about getting you married to a Chinese girl. So I was thinking, we would have laughed, and that was really funny as well. So then Huzur was thinking, then Huzur got serious. Again, like you should always stay on your toes. Like all the laughter and everything going on, Huzur just put everything back into his perspective. He gets up, looks at me very sternly, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sending you far. I want this many bete." And I won't say the number because in case I don't reach that target, it's gonna be really hard. And I don't know, oh, you guys, maybe like next year, you're gonna be like, oh, did you reach that target? And if I don't do it, it's gonna be. But I was literally looked at my face and he was like, yeah, I want this many bete, go do it. And I was thinking, and then yeah, he just went by, and since then it's just been like that. So you realize that now you have to go far away, and the only person that you do have is Allah Ta'ala. And to make this happen, I literally have to put or think about all those things that Jamia tried to teach me and put it into play now. And trust me, it's a big target. And right now in Hong Kong, I think there's like 1 or 2 Ahmadi families. That's it. Few asylum seekers, no Jamaat have really established. So it's going to be an adventure on its own. But I personally feel that without God's help, it's literally, I can personally say again that for me, it's a test as well now to see if God really exists, because I know for a fact this is an impossible situation, impossible mission to get this many or to even start something. And if you guys know about Hong Kong, it's like really atheistic. People do not care about religion there. Their religion is money and stuff like that. If I can go there and as a medium for, obviously Wazoo can send whoever he wants, but if the Promise of Messiah's message can spread there and flourish there, trust me, then I will know that, you know what, this is God's Jamaat, and through God's help, anything can be done. So yeah, that's the surprise that Humayun Saab tried to keep from you as well.
But you surprised me even more.
Huh?
You surprised me even more by the way you said it.
Yeah.
Mashallah, sounds like a big number of bets that you have. But as you said, nothing can happen without the help of Allah.
Yeah,
and exactly. I think you realize that now more than ever before in your life, right?
Yeah.
Wow. And this is something which we can all relate to. Allah is always going to be with us, and we're going to have moments where we think about Him more than any other time. And Nur Hadi Saab has just related how he's thinking about Allah even more now. And it's that we do get comfortable, don't we? We do get comfortable within our own lives. We have everything, mom's cooking food for us, and you have our beds. But suddenly things can change, and we need to always be ready. And Allah's always going to be there to help us. That's the key for all of us to remember. But we need to make that effort. That have we made that relationship with Him, so that when we do turn to Him, He's not just that person that we turn to and ask for help in that moment. He's that being that is always going to be there, and we need to develop that relationship. So then when things do hit the fan, we're going to have that backing that He's going to be there to help us in those moments as well. Nur Hadi Saab, it's been a brilliant talk. Honestly, I've really, really enjoyed it. I'm sure everyone else on the call has enjoyed it. I do believe we have a few questions. So Hunan, do you want to ask your question, please?
Assalamu alaikum, Saab.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah,
you can't put your video on, or are you on like a?
You want me to put my video on?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll put my video on.
Yeah, I think it's easier to talk to someone when you can see when you're face to face and everything. Not to make you feel awkward or anything. Oh, there you go.
So I just quick question. I want to ask how you prepared yourself for Jamia and what you done to get into Jamia, and just like one quick personal tip or advice you would give to someone who does want to join.
Okay, so I'm not sure if that was my connection or was that over there, but if what I did gather is that you asked what can you prepare for before going to Jamia and any tips basically, yeah? I don't know, Humayun Saab, did you get that question? I think I glitched a bit here.
Okay, yeah, so, well, he's asked, how do you prepare for Jamia? What do you need to do to get into Jamia? What do you need, like, specifically? What do you need to learn? What do you need to prepare for? What should they expect at the entrance exam? And also any personal tips that you did that you can give.
I think it's changed a bit now, but it's quite the same. I would recommend if you can try to learn Urdu, read and write as much as you can. Not that you can't survive without it, but because majority of the Jamaat's teachings and the books and everything, and you're going to be taught in Urdu as well. If you can, you would have like a head start from everyone else. If you were to, let's say, I wouldn't say become an expert scholar at Urdu right now, but if you can at least read and write to a level where you can like dictate and make notes in Urdu or something like that, that would really help. It would be really beneficial, and it would impress the people, or let's say the panelists or whoever takes the interview. If you can tell them that, you know, I can read and write Urdu, that would be pretty impressive for them, because it'll be less of a headache for them that when you come in the first year, does this boy already know Urdu, how to read and write, or do we have to teach him from scratch? So I think there's 3 languages they really focus on in the beginning. English, Urdu, and Arabic. Arabic, of course, the only thing they will look at is if you can read and write or if you can recite the Quran, or how fluent you are reciting the Quran. So if you can get a bit comfortable with the Holy Quran itself, it's not a huge target. If you just read like a line or 2 a day, you can become more comfortable with the Quran and Arabic that way. If you want to, you can get adventurous and learn more Arabic. Humayun was teaching like basic Arabic, I'm sure, in your Jamaat. I saw some videos. Those are really beneficial. So if you can really brush up your Urdu, Arabic, and English, and tell them that, you know, I know these basic languages, and to an extent where I can read and write, even if I'm not like a very big scholar at these languages, but, you know, I can become fluent, then that's something impressive for them. Another thing is that I think try to be confident in the because the Murabbi's job is to be a bit outgoing, or be a bit not outgoing in the sense where you come across arrogant, but where you come across as in they want to see that this is your decision, and this isn't a decision that's being made by your parents, or this is a decision that's you're being told by someone to do. They want to see that, is this decision being made by you? And I think if you forget about all the panelists, there's one person that's going to be sitting in front of you, and I feel like he can see right through you. And that's our principal sub, and Humayun sub will tell you as well. Principal sub will see, and he told me in the 7th year as well, he says that he knows when he looks at someone if this guy becomes a Murabi or not. And I don't know why he shared that with me, and he would never share that with someone, but he says that he can see Murabi in someone, and he can see someone that won't become a Murabi, right? Or will find it a bit hard. So for you to become something like that in front of him, obviously, one, you have to pray a lot and ask Allah Ta'ala to shroud you in such a way that you come across as if you can be an asset for the Jamaat. And 2, just try to be confident and try to show them that this is your personal decision. There's nothing else that you want to do in this world other than serve the Jamaat in this way. And if you can show them that passion that you have about serving the Jamaat as a Murabbi, I'm sure they'll probably take you. So yeah.
Jazakallah.
Zaka, I think it's a brilliant answer. I think we have more questions. Amr, do you want to ask your question?
Assalamualaikum.
Rabbi
Sahab, just a question that came into my mind earlier, even before you mentioned your posting, that did you ever have that fear that even before applying for Jamia, that when I decide to devote my life, I'm going to have some sort of fear that if Hazur sends me outside of like the UK or whatnot, or very far away, then you know, you might have that fear of how am I gonna cope with it or anything.
Yeah, it's natural to have that fear, especially when you're a young teenager of, like, say, 16 to 18 and you're going to Jamia. But I think, again, Jamia itself is like a mini playground to teach you how to leave home or go far away. Because Jamia, you're already leaving home. And I would say when I went to Jamia, it was that fear was there. And the initial fear was that I'm leaving home to go to Jamia now. So it was in a different country, but for me, it felt like I'm going to a different country because I wasn't going to be at home every day. So at that time, that was my first step. And I think that, again, Jamia is teaching you that, look at this, we're not keeping you at home because one day you're not going to be at home, or you might be sent somewhere far away. So if you look at it that way, yeah, that fear, slowly, I got used to it. Slowly, like, I would call my parents, let's say, every day, then that turned into weekly, then that turned into monthly, and then it turned into like I don't even need to call them. They know that I'm doing okay, and I know they're doing okay. So like that fear that kind of just disappeared after a few years in Jamia, because you're so engaged in the Jamia work, and they're trying to teach you that you're independent from everything else now, and you could be sent anywhere. Yeah, you have that in the back of your mind. But 7 years is a long time, trust me, to make a habit of, let's say, trying to adopt or trying to become a person that can tell himself. And even if you don't go Jamia, let's say, for example, you devote yourself or you become a zindagi in your own aspect, right? I know this very well friend of mine. His name's Fuad Ahmed, and he devoted himself. And his first posting was in Nigeria, so it was a big shock to him. But I'm sure that he can tell you more if you get in touch with him. But from what I've spoken to him, he, before even becoming a Waqf Zindagi, told himself that this could happen, and it happened before his very eyes. So it's something that I think you just have to come to terms with it and just accept the reality that this is what the Jamaat needs right now, and are you up for it, basically?
Does anyone else have any questions for Nur Hadi Sahab?
Yeah, assalamualaikum Rabbi
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah,
I have a very good friend of mine called Zariab as well. So you're the second Zariab that I've met.
Okay, I think that's the first one I ever know then.
Yeah, there's a boy down there right now. His name's Zariab.
Yeah.
My question was, what is the Jamaat situation of Hong Kong then?
Jamaat situation in Hong Kong right now is that I think it's very new in the sense that they've made like a bank account so they can call themselves a Jamaat there. But it's only, let's say, like, I think in 2013, they created a bank account for the Jamaat where now they can start stuff. But because they don't have an official Murabbi there, or like an official Nizam where they have like a Sadr or a Mir or like guides and stuff like that who are controlling that, whatever they've established, it's still very small. So right now, the situation there is that there are one or two families who have been living there for a long time because they left Pakistan or something like that and moved there. And other than that, there's just a few handful of asylum seekers from like Indonesia and stuff like that who are trying to seek asylum in Hong Kong. But I don't think there are any like, let's say, what's the word? There's no jacket there. The person that's actually born in Hong Kong who's an Ahmadi, like what do you call it? Someone who's native, yeah, native. There's no like native Hong Kongese Ahmadis at the moment, so it's still very new.
Are they called Hong Kongese?
Yeah, I think they're called Hong Kongese.
Zuriab, you should put it in the quiz next week.
One second, let me just mute this one.
Mute the Azan.
Oh God, yeah. So I'll probably just have like 10 minutes, then I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, that's fine. No, I think that we'll wrap it up there because we basically do a Kahoot quiz after this.
Gotcha.
So Zariab, in fact, he's in charge of our Kahoot quizzes. So Noor, on behalf of everyone in the Midlands, Birmingham, Wolverhampton, Walsall, I want to say Jazakallah for coming on. I think it just shows that when Murabis don't need to prepare for anything, because when you came on, man.
I was hoping that Sabur would say something, but he's gone now. So.
Sabur knew that his time was coming, innit?
I was gonna pick on him next.
No, unfortunately, I think he had to go. Yeah, Yazyoung, busy guy. Anyways, Noor, Jazakallah for coming on. It was really interesting. This is recorded, so inshallah we'll put it online as well. Because you said some really good stuff that I think a lot of people can benefit from, and I hope you guys did benefit from his speech today. So, and you also, of course, you're welcome anytime to join us every week at 6 o'clock on Fridays. And let us know how your journey goes. Let us know when you do go to Hong Kong. And inshallah, our next conversation, you'll be speaking in Chinese or in Cantonese. Inshallah. So, Jazakallah, Noor.
All right, man. Jazakallah for having me.
You're free. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah, everyone. Assalamu
alaikum.
How boys, back to us now. Zuriab, let's get this one going, man. Looking forward to it. Okay. So I had to wait just about an hour. Hong Kong though, it's crazy, isn't it? Guys, I could have been sitting in any chair right now. Allah watching in the West Midlands.
Can you see my screen, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so as usual, 513-2847.
Guys, how did you find the talk, man? Let's have some feedback.
It was so good, Rabbi Saab. It was so good. I don't even know how to say it. It was just so inspiring.
Really? Which
Yeah,
bits?
you know when his camera was stuck for like even just a second, I was like, no, what was next? And then it came back, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, I think every time
Yeah,
it got stuck, it didn't actually cut anything he said out. It just made it a bit faster. But
yeah.
yeah. Utter, coming from a lawyer's perspective, were you able to relate to some of the things that he was saying?
In what way?
Anything he was mentioning, were you able to? Were you able to relate to it?
Well, one thing that I took away from it is that I want to, with my career, in some way, serve the Jamaat. It was a very inspiring, speech, and the way you retold some of the stories with Azur was very inspiring. So one thing it did make me want to do is, like, inshallah, find some way in my career that I can serve the Jamaat in whatever way I can. I don't know yet. I have to progress a little bit before I can see, but inshallah.
That's amazing. That really is the purpose of our life, man. We have to give back, and the Jamaat is there to accommodate that.
Myself as well, Murphy Saab. When I went to Jamia in 2010, I made the application without telling my parents that I made the application. I just went. The letter came back home. My dad's holding it in front of when I came back from school. He said, "What is this?" He got interview date and exam date as well.
Oh my god, that's amazing. What a story.
Because I didn't expect that I would be taken in for an interview, because they said that the criteria is so high already, and I didn't get the grades I should have gotten, because my expected grades were very low according to the requirement, but I still got in.
And just quickly before we start, Kashif and Saqib, obviously you guys are planning to go to Jamia. How was it for you guys? Just a quick comment.
I found it inspiring as well, just like Zaria Bhai said. Like, I was going to say the same thing he said, Zaria Bhai, but then he said it first, and I was like, okay, he just said, he just took my words out of my mouth. So it was the same as his reaction as well. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's really nice to hear, and I'll definitely tell him you guys' feedback.
Also, it kind of made me regret Murabi Saab, my life. I just wish I went, man.
No, man. Just pray that inshallah, if not you, then your children. That's what you should always say. And Hazur did say that I want Murabbi in every single family. And this is obviously, family means that, your extended family and their family as well. So there should be one person who can reach out to all these members in the family. So pray that, if you guys didn't make it, then one day, inshallah, that your children's heart will lean towards it. Okay, guys, let's get this on the road.
Okay, I think one person's dropped out, but I think let's just get it going. Unless he's driving today, so he's not going to be the winner.
Oh, no.
I'm reconnecting.
Oh, okay.
Murphy
Saab, I just cancelled my membership. There's going to take £211 out my account.
Oh no! I forgot to mention there's loads of Black Friday sales. I think one of the wait, Thingy's come back. Sabur's come back. Sabur, quickly join. We're waiting for you. Black Friday sales, even for Kahoot. I think there was a sale for £50 for the whole year. Obviously, we're not going to do it.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. Oh,
don't do it. But basically, when you do the unlimited thing, as soon as you do it, cancel your subscription that moment. They will still last for the week. Sometimes if you forget, you're going to get a big present through your door, a big bill.
Is Sabur joining?
Sabur, are you joining? Tron. He always comes in a different name. I think his mic's working.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. I think I'll hit the start button then. Bismillah. Okay, so question 1. What is the prayer called which is read during an eclipse? Jinnah, Chandaf, Suruf, or Kusuf?
Chandaf,
Yeah, it's Kusuf. All the rest are made up. Yeah. It's Kusuf prayer is what you read during an eclipse.
Oh, brilliant. Kusuf or Kusuf.
Khutbah test. Which of these did the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam not like? Was it haldi, turmeric, onion, ginger, or garlic? Yeah, it was indeed garlic.
Wasn't it yogurt?
Yeah. No, basically, lassan, there is garlic, but loads of people thought it meant lassi. And even the English translation, they said, oh, he didn't like the yogurt drink, but lassan is the Urdu word for garlic, not lassi. So a lot of people thought it was yogurt. I was listening to a translation, and they were like, Azul didn't like the yogurt drink. I was like, no. That's actually MTA. What do you call a baby horse? A mare, a foal, a pony, or a stallion?
Stallion.
It is indeed a foal. A mare is a female horse. A foal is a baby horse. A pony is actually a type of horse, which is just small, even when it's an adult. And a stallion is a male horse.
Some people think that a pony evolves into a horse, but ponies is different, its own breed, and the horse is its own breed. Remember that?
Yeah, I used to think a pony was a baby horse, to be fair. Okay, so khutbah says, what prayer was mentioned to be read as soon as the time starts today? Was it Fajr, Zohar, Asr, or Maghrib?
What?
So in today's khutbah, it was mentioned, a prayer was mentioned to be read as soon as the time of it starts, and to be hasty in it, not to. Yeah, it was indeed Maghrib.
Oh, okay.
Because I think there's a short time for it.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you call a group of camels? A herd, a pride, a caravan, and a flock.
Afla.
I can't laugh.
That's the translation.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Cha. Okay. Which of these does not ever spoil? Red, honey, sugar, and peas.
What? What do you mean by spoil?
As in expire, out of date, bust jati hai jab kharab hota hai.
Then I got it wrong. Oh.
I think everyone knew that.
Yeah. That's a question for people is to get some points up. How many minutes in a rugby game? 70, 80, 90, 100?
Has to be even, right?
Yeah, 80 minutes, 40-minute half in a rugby game.
Hmm.
And it's coming up. Okay. Which of these is the periodic table symbol for silver? Yeah, Ag is the periodic table symbol for silver. It's from the Latin name something like that. Yeah. Easy and then fresh GCSE knowledge. Fresh knowledge.
Too long for me. We're doing too long for me.
Durood Sharif, what is the translation of Innaka Hamidun Majid? Yes, it is. It is Innaka Hamidun Majid. Thou art Hamidun praiseworthy, Majid glorious.
Anas Majid.
If he was here.
Did he leave?
I don't know if he's still here actually.
No, he left.
What is the capital of Portugal? Lagos, Valencia, Seville, or Lisbon?
It's Hong Kong.
Yeah, Lisbon. I don't know, you know.
Hong Kong's the champion.
I think it's probably so.
Under
What is the postcode of the House of Parliament?
Oh, I've done this before, man.
This one, you can't. This is just a guess, really. Isn't it?
Also limited.
SW1, WS1.
Yeah, SW1A0AA. Quite a unique postcode.
Who's it? Hunan, man.
Easy, man. You've been there.
Not-
What is the meaning of Al-Mateen? Strong, the power, the healer, the wise.
Mateen. They say Dini Mateen.
Mateen.
To be something on your deen. Strong on your deen.
It is indeed strong.
Dini Mateen. Oh.
Fill in the blanks. If a prayer is devoid of real and sincere, the prayer is in vain, ineffective, and a useless task.
Couldn't think of a fourth option, could you?
No. I really couldn't. Yeah, so if a prayer is devoid of real anxiety and anguish, that prayer is useless. It said Holy Prophet, Prophet Messiah. So you should be anxious. Riyad Mahrez is from which country? Algeria, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, or Chile? Oh, quick one that was. Algeria. Easy in there. And then's coming on myself. Okay, so some history. Before the French takeover in 1830, Algeria was under which power? The Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Mughal Empire, the Byzantine Empire. All of these are Muslim except for the Roman Empire. Yes, it was. So Algeria was autonomously run by the Ottoman Empire until the French took over. Right, and that's why French is now spoken there.
Oi, Qadiani Zindabad.
I'm coming for you.
You changed from Mirzai to Qadiani.
I like to switch it up, innit?
This one.
Which Qabila did Hazrat Ayyub Ansari belong to? Quraysh, Najjar, Hashim, or Rashid?
Khazraj. From Khazraj.
Isn't it Banu Najjar? I heard.
Yeah, Najjar and Khazraj.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Banu Najjar.
Come on, Kash, if you got that one, you did it in your thing.
What is the meaning of Quran? Is it a book, scripture, hand of God, or read?
No, it doesn't mean any of this.
Isn't it the most read?
It means the.
It's a trick question.
Yeah, it means the most.
No one answer. No one answer.
It means the most read. Yeah.
Oh, the most. I thought it means the recited or to read. Okay.
Ikra means read, which is the first word.
Well, I still
Quran comes from the word Ikra, so Quran means the most read.
Okay.
Oh man.
Then get back down. You didn't deserve that one.
God, Diani should have been there, man.
True or false? A nautical mile is longer than a mile.
Nautical. Could you expand on the phrase nautical?
A nautical mile is another. It's just another unit of measurement, which is mostly used in on the sea. So a nautical mile is 1.15 mile of a mile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. It's good knowledge. Hoi.
Oh, it's also used in air, marine, and space. But yeah, a nautical mile is 1.15 miles.
Nautical
Okay.
engineering.
Which Khalifa stayed in Mecca for religious learning?
Not as a Khalifa, there was
Yeah, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih the first. Nuruddin travelled quite a bit actually for religious learning.
yeah.
One question is Haqaiq al-Furqan is the tafsir of the Quran by which Khalifa? Which Khulafa?
Was it Umar? Sick guy.
Yeah, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih the first, and then again wrote Haqaiq al-Furqan as the tafsir of the Quran. Right then. The results are.
Thank you, Jonas, for today.
Yes, probably Sahab.
And reveal that I was Hong Kong.
Qadiani, was that Mubarak's friend?
Oh, that was me, Guardiani.
Oh, okay. Oh, easy.
Look, you got 9 out of 20. That was second. Look at the difference.
Appalling display by me.
Rashif and Saqib got 10 out of 20, but still came third.
And that's 2 brains as well.
So 5. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Guys, make sure you go on your phones and do the questions which you got wrong, because it'll help you for your future as well. Here, guys, we started 14. We're left with 7. So we halved it. But alhamdulillah, it was really good. Hope you guys enjoyed everything today, the talk and everything. So it's good to, we lost 2, but we gained 1 speaker. But mashallah, I hope you all benefited from that. Guys, I think it's time. I've got actually a speech in 10 minutes. So I've got to go. Anur was talking about you get things last second. I actually looked at my phone today. I was like, yep, there's a program, and I saw my name, and there's a random speech next to it, and say, yeah, this is our life now. People don't even ask us anymore. They just say, yeah, you have a speech today. So I wake up full of surprises. Oh man, this is our life. Got to deal with it. We chose the life, so we got to accept it, whatever happens. All right, guys. Nice talking to all of you. Inshallah, see you next week.
Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Barakallah, assalamu alaikum.